Hey to all the viewers and subscribers out there, welcome back to another video upload from the Apex Predator Billiards Training Club. My name is Apex Lemia, and in today's video we're going to be looking at a very special moment that not too long ago occurred in my career, and it is perhaps one of the best and greatest moments in my 10-year period of playing this beautiful game known as pocket billiards. Now, the nature of this tournament here is where we have 7 players and we are going around in circles, playing each other one game, and the ultimate goal is to reach 17 games before everyone else. Now, here's a fun fact: there are some strong players in the game, in the tournament, and there's also a little bit less stronger players. So even while we had to go to 17, the stronger players, a few of the younger players had to go a lesser score. So we had to spot them a few games. Like, for example, the young man who just won that game just a while ago, he had to go 14. A few other players had to go 12, and a couple of other players had to go 15. So not only is this moment a great one for me, but it is also one of that time period where I found myself in dead stroke. Dead stroke is, of course, not sure how many of you guys have reached a point in a game where you're only seeing and hearing the balls going to the pocket. You're not even distracted by the environment. But we're not going to be talking about all of that, guys. If it is that this is the first time here on the channel, consider smashing that subscribe button below, turning on your post notification, leave me a like, leave me a comment. Let me know if you are getting value from the contents being posted here on my channel. Of course, I offer lessons in kicking, banking, jumping, position play, safety play, and just in general sharing lovely experiences of good and great players, potentially great players that are here in Jamaica. So we're not going to be wasting any time. We're going to be jumping into the rack, and as we go along I will update you based on the nature of what's going on throughout the game. Alright, now remember that this is a race to 17. This is a 2-day event. Day 1 has already been completed. The score line for each player is that the player leading is at 10. 2 other players were at 6 and 7. Another 2 players were at 1 and 0. And I was actually at 2. And I believe another player was at 4. So currently, as you see me here, and I'm about to start constructing the run out for this rack, I was actually on 2 games. And obviously, I would not have known that this was the moment of greatness for me. I never knew that I was actually going to do what I actually did. You're seeing part 1 of 3 parts. You're only going to be seeing the first 5 racks of a 15 rack massacre. That's what I call it, really. It's a massacre because I was the least player, even though I was a very strong player in the run out, in the lineup. On day 1 I did not perform as well, and I actually was behind. The young man there in the white that is sitting down on the chair in the back, he actually break and ran 2 games in a row on me, removing me from the table without a chance. So of course it is my time to get back and show what I can do. So I'm off to a really shaky start. As you can see there, my opponent broke. I got a shot into the side, played a position, got a couple of nudges off the ball, landed on the 5. Now I have myself in a spot of bother because now the rack is clustered up. Clearly it's not a Cosmo rack, so I won't be able to run out the whole table. But let me just inform you that you're going to be entertaining all 3 parts. You're going to be seeing a little bit of everything. You're going to be seeing break and run outs, strategic play, tactical gameplay, miss shots, easy shots miss, hard shots miss, composure being held. You're gonna get a little bit of everything. So if you're watching this video at the moment, do not watch this when you're in a rush. I want you to take your time and be entertained, not only by the gameplay but also by the commentary, as I take you through the thought process of what was going on in my mind as I try to run these racks and win these games. Alright, and remember that this is a tournament where we have 7 players. We're going around in circles to play each other one game, and the player to reach 17 games would win and collect the prize money of 21,000 Jamaican dollars. So of course you're going to be seeing a little bit of everything. So outside of what's going on inside the tournament, you can see a lot of patrons are there. It's a really tense moment. I'm not really a threat at the moment. The young man there that is playing is Westburn Finley, a young talent. At the time, he was definitely on the rise. Not sure exactly where his game level is at the moment, but at that time, a few years ago, he was definitely one to watch out for. So of course, he's the type of player now, very calculated. He's actually a math teacher by profession, very calculated, and he has learned a lot from us. It's tense moments, but at the moment, as I'm playing here, I'm not really a threat. I am the person that is second lowest in the lead. So the person that is leading, you'll see him in a moment in the next few racks. I'm not really a threat at the moment, but I could be a threat if I win consistently. So here we go, we're off, and as you can see there, you're seeing the first sign where the players are actually planning and thinking about what they need to do in the rack. All right, there's no shot clock. It's just a group of us players coming together saying, hey, let's play this magnanimous game here. And so there's no shot clock. So if you're going to be worrying about why is it that we're taking so long to shoot, it's really tense moments. You would have to be there to understand. But definitely this was the whole entire tournament was a great match. Not only because I won, but simply because everything was there. It was nerve-wracking, tense moments, the crowd celebrating and then turning against me when they saw that I was running away with it. Never in a million years would I ever thought that I could have been able to run 15 games straight, down by 15 games to the finishing line, and still pulling through. This is number one, or this is indeed the number one greatest moment in my pool career. Right, again, if you're getting content from previous videos that I've uploaded on my channel, please consider smashing the subscribe button, becoming a part of the family, like, share to your pool communities, and of course we're going to be sharing a lot more in the near future in terms of lessons to improve your game here on Apex Predator Billiards Training Club. Alright, so here we go, guys. Let's get back into the rack. We've been talking while the rack is being played, but here we go. I'm a little bit in control of this rack at the moment. As you can see there, the 7 ball that I had missed earlier, that is really my saving grace at the moment, because it's standing in the pocket that is preventing Westburn Finley from actually running the table. So it's all right now, it's just all about staying composed. This is my first game after I was humiliated real bad the week before, where I didn't even shoot anywhere near to what you're about to see now. It bewildered all the players as to how I actually did it. Alright, I went there, I played a shot straight down, I tried to go for the aggressive bank on the 4, but that did not do me any justice. Although I'm still in control of the rack here, that 7 ball really turns out to be a saving grace for me, because had that not been there, Westburn Finley would have had an easier route in terms of planning his run out here. So as you can see here, he's definitely calculating. He knows that he cannot run the game as we see it here, so he's going to try to leave me tough. He's going to try to leave me tough by removing my 7 ball from the pocket. So it's just going to be playing a billiard, cue ball off the 15 to pocket the 7 ball here and leave me tough. Alright, seems as if I have a look at the 6. It's a tough shot, considering the fact that I still have the 4 ball, and I also still, I believe, have the 1 ball tied up. So, but I still have a look at the 6. I think he was really trying to hook me behind the 14, that cluster of ball there, the 14 and the 1. So definitely he's not out of the wilderness, but I have a tough shot here on the 6, jacked up close to the rail, and I have to still play position. So I think I'm just trying to catch the outside of the 8 to play position on the left side of the 4 into the same pocket here. Alright, so I did get the position that I intended, which is what I wanted, but the shot was missed, bringing Westburn Finley back to the table. Alright, and of course guys, if it is that you are watching the rack with me, of course feel free to comment, ask me questions. Why did the player did that? What other routes do you think that the player could have taken in order to run the table? Of course, engage with me in the comment section, guys, so that we all can learn from each other, because of course in the tournament that was being played, I can't say that all decisions that were made correctly. Maybe in the moment that's what we saw, but surely I would love to hear from you and learn from you here. Westburn Finley there, just playing his first legal opening shot here. Alright, played a one rail. I'm not sure if the intended positional route that he took was what he wanted, but he has found himself here on top of the 14, which is not very good, because I don't think he's able to back cut it into the side, or I think he's just going all out aggressive here, pocketing the 9 and trying to break out the cluster, because once that cluster is broken out, he should be able to get pinpoint position, provided that he landed on the 14 cleanly. Then he should be able to run the rack. But again, there you can see another unforced error made by Westburn Finley. Surely this has to be the moment where Apex Elenio takes the rack to take his first one in lead. As you can see him sitting there, he knows that a mistake at any point throughout the rack of that magnitude more than likely will cost him the game. But of course, as I said earlier, guys, the score line, I am not really a threat. So even if I win this game, I'm still gonna have to win a lot more players, and there's about 3 or 4 more strong players in this field where at any given point they can actually end my run. So here we are on the 1 ball, taking 2 rails back out to the middle of the table. That's nice. I played into an area where I have an option. Alright, if you notice that the cue ball coming off 2 rails was heading into the line of the 14, but just in case, sorry, the line of the 4, pardon me, but just in case I overrun, which is exactly what I did, I was thinking also the position on the 6. So there's a bit of stun draw here, maybe missing the 11, maybe grazing the 11 a little bit to come back in between where the cue ball and the 6 ball is at the moment for a clean position on the 4. Nice nudge there on the 11, landing in a pinpoint position here, alright, to end the rack. So it's just all about a good start. It was a quite nerve-wracking start, because even though I knew that the likelihood of me winning this tournament at the moment was at 2 to 10, 2 to 10 or 2 to 8 odds, where I had a 20% chance of even thinking that I could win this tournament, because the leader on day 1 massacred the field and actually took everybody by surprise by taking a 10 game lead, only needing 7 to take the tournament. And of course here, winning my first rack, I've broken down the deficit from 8 to about 3. Alright guys, so back onto the table here, we are going to be racking up, and surely I'm going to be facing one of my toughest opponents in this tournament, Jennar McKenzie. Of course, I told you last week he gave me 2 back-to-back break and runs without me having a chance to respond. And as I mentioned here, giving this young man a chance is more like giving your life away, because anything close to the opening of the table where he can run the table in any way, he is more than capable of clearing the rack. So there you can see a nice opening break here, a nice spread. It is definitely not a Cosmo rack. I don't have much problem areas. Clearly the stripes are more in the open, so already I did not take much time to get down onto the table to decide my opening shot. 15 ball into the side and playing into that zone. The only problem that I'm seeing here on the table as we speak here could possibly be the 10 ball that is above the 8, because the 8 ball and the 10 ball should actually go into the same pocket. So the 9 and 11 seems like a very good key ball to the 8, but I decided to take the 9 I'm assuming that maybe because I do not want to run into any form of obstacle. If I'm going to be playing position, I definitely want to play position where the cue ball is not heading to an obstacle area or a zone where I can bump or nudge an obstacle ball. That would actually change the pattern of how I am actually planning to run the rock. So I decided to take the 9 to the side and then take the 11 to stand back out to the middle of the table. Alright, I'm still in prime position here. I'm in a zone. The cue ball, if you notice, is under complete control. This is just my second game. I'm actually on 3 points out of 15. And here, just kind of stunning back. Notice that the cue ball is moving less. I needed a straighter shot on the 14. As you can see, I pointed there on the table just to say that I wanted it to be there. But it's still good. This table is quite quick. We're playing on a Simonis 860 cloth. The table is quite bouncy. It's the same table that I had posted a run out that I did. And I also did a 4. I believe I posted an earlier video. I'll leave a link in the description where I did. I also did 4 break and runs in a row. Definitely check that video out. That was also the same table here that I'm playing on. So I decided to play the position using the speed of the table here. I knew that if I tried to play one rail back to the 14, I might have left myself with an awkward angle to get back onto the 10. Now there you can see I'm lining up where I need to be. If I can somehow get less of a thin angle and I can get it almost straight with just a slight angle, then I should be able to stun draw below the 8, pocket in the 8 in the same side, same pocket where the last ball is gonna go. So let's see how we play here. Rolling the ball into the side. Just needed to get a thick angle here. Just a slight angle leading towards below the 8. But I think that I may have played this shot a bit too hard, because now I've gotten close to my work, which makes pocketing the ball easier. But at the same time, I don't think, based on my body language there, I don't think I have the right angle to get below the 8. I don't think, if that was the case, I would have been down already, being that I'm so confident and I'm on the verge of completing my first break and run in this tournament. Walking around the table there, clearly I do not have the flat angle that I needed to draw down for the 8, so I may have to change the plan. This 8 is closer to that pocket to which I'm playing the 10 in there. You can see I'm checking to see if I can draw, stun draw. Maybe I can, maybe I can't, I don't know, but I decided to just perhaps just go 1-2 rails and back over to near where the 10 ball is. If I can get to that area, I then still have a chance to pocket the 8, and of course I landed dead, just maybe an inch or so below where the 10 ball was. I now left myself with a really tough shot down the rail on this 8 ball. Alright, I needed to actually get straight. That was a risky shot though. Many things could have gone wrong there. I could have fallen an inch to the left of where the cue ball is at the moment, would make the shot even tougher. And if I did not get cleanly on this 8, anything can happen. And in this run here, based on how the balls are laid up, a missed shot right now is definitely the end of the run for Apex Selenia here. I haven't even started a run. It's just one game so far. So here we go. I'm getting down on this 8. Just kind of just taking a couple of looks on the shot here. Let me apologize for a few patrons or a few children are in the arena, in the room, in the pool hall here. So pool is not played the way it's played on the international scene. Let's have a look at the shot first before I talk about that. So I cut down the rail here by Apex Selenia to take his second game and his first break and run. Nice cut down the rail and deposited into the pocket to take a 2-0 lead and the first break and run. Again guys, I'm still not yet a threat, but that was an important game that will give me the momentum to actually get back and give myself some sort of chance to win this tournament. This is part 1 of part 2 of a 3-part series where I ran 15 games straight to win this tournament. It was a massacre and an exhibition of quality gameplay by Apex Selenio and against some of the best players in my area. Alright, a break shot there, nicely done. But this rack is not like what you just saw earlier. I had a more open table. This rack is clustered up, and certainly, most certainly, to say the least, to run this rack, there's gonna have to be some development of some balls. I may have to break out, play position into some small zones, small areas to run this rack here. So it's not guaranteed. Let us see how I go about running the rack here. Already I'm looking at some aggressive options, and this is how I know that pool is played aggressively in my country. It doesn't matter how the rack looks, as long as we have an opening shot like what I started with there, we're going to try to go for the run. And should in the event that we fall a bit short, then we may have to play for some sort of defensive play here. 8 ball, you know, is not a game where you can map out. Unless it's a Cosmo rack, you can't really map out and say that this is the way the game is to be run. It kind of based on how you're running the table and how the balls gets laid out after you nudge or brush or open an obstacle area. So there you can see I'm going for a 2-3 rail position here. Nicely done. That's a beautiful shot there to create an opening for that 13 ball, which was one of the main problem in this rack. There you can see I'm already lining up the 10 ball. I'm lining up for the 10 ball. I'm already seeing that the 10 ball goes straight down into the pocket here on the bottom left. And all I need to do here now is just perhaps just kind of stun roll through here. I'm jacked up over the 2. I have to be careful instead of from touching the 2. Just kind of roll forward, maybe just about the area from which I was aiming from, to get some sort of shot onto the 10. Now I have limited space for the cue ball to move here, so everything has to be pinpoint accurate. And I'm already into the zone where I can take air off my 2 only problematic ball. I have the 13 ball, which can go down into the bottom right pocket here, but it's going to be difficult to really guesstimate that I can run this rack from now. If you're looking at this, you're perhaps saying that you don't think I'm going to be running the rack, but as I tell you guys, I was really on top form, top peak in this match here. I don't know how I did it, but I did it. That was a great shot there on the 10, just giving me just enough of the 14 ball here. I don't think I'm able to see the clean pot on the 14. I may have to use some cut-induced throw here. I'm actually cutting the ball to my left. From where I'm aiming from, I'm cutting the ball to my left. So if I add maybe just a tips of right spin, I can perhaps transfer some. If I add a tip, maybe just an ounce, or maybe just kind of throw the ball into the pocket there. You can see the throw effect taking place here. Nice shot. I'm certain that I was not able to see all of that 14, so that even made the shot even a lot better. But I'm in a spot of bother here. The 8 ball, as you can see, I took earlier. I had a look at whether the 8 could have passed. So now I'm in a sticky position here. I have a really severe, almost a little bit greater than a 90-degree back cut here, and again I'm gonna have to be using the cut-induced throw here to pocket the 13. It's not clean cut. I'm able to see the contact area, but let's see here. As you can see, you will see the throw taking place. Nice shot there, leaving myself with some sort of opportunity on the 8 ball here. Earlier I had a look to see if the 8 could have passed. I had an exact on the table. I had an exaggerated look, so I'm now having another look here on the 8 to see if it passes. Based on how hard I'm looking, I can see that there's only but maybe a small space here, and I'm playing off the rail. The distance between the cue ball and the 8 ball is far. I most definitely would have to hit the contact spot dead, so I may have to use the 1 as a little bit of a guide to pocket this 8 here. Again, this is the second tough shot that I've left myself with on the 8. In the last rack, I played myself out of position and had to play a tough shot. Let's see if I can execute another one to take a 3-0 lead on day 2 here. Great shot there by Apex Selenium. 2 break and runs in a row. The momentum is high. I'm still not yet a threat. I'm only on 5 games. And I'm now playing, as you're going to be hearing in the background. This match, this game here, is going to be a crucial one. Because the young man coming to the table was the player who was really taking the bull by the horn in day 1. The player that you're going to be seeing now is Lee Miller. The player you saw before was Courtney Gibson, strong, medium to strong B+ player. He has been playing pool for a while, but now we're looking at an experienced veteran, an A-class player. Alright, of course you cannot be leading by 10 games, leading the field, running away with the match if you're not a very strong player. He did play some great games last week, or on day 1. So here we go. I'm on 5 points, building momentum, not yet in dead stroke. Those 2 break and runs definitely is going to be setting me up for an opportunity, and that was a beautiful break shot there. Open table like what I had when I did the first break and run. So here's my opportunity now to do another break and run. Can I do it? Can I stop the leader from running away with the match? Of course, at this point, a lot of the players, as you would have heard in the background, is actually hoping for me to win this particular game, to slow the leader down. Because as you know, as I mentioned earlier in the tournament, or in the video, this is a tournament where we are playing each player one game as we go around. This is what we call a kingship tournament. Alright, you only play one game and you have to stay alive on the table. So here we go. 15 ball into the corner. The intent there was to use the 5 as a stopper. I hit the right side of the 5, but I actually hit the right side of the 5 a bit too hard. I needed to get just in between where the 5 and the 14 is at the moment for a clean shot onto the 10 to set myself up for the run. Had I landed there, the game would have been all over, and that would have been another break and run, 3rd in succession. But here I've left myself really bad. I can see the 14, but I'm not able to pocket it clearly, because I would have been down already. So this is really the shot that would actually break or keep my momentum. I'm looking at a combination here, a back cut combination. I'm going to be cutting the 14 into the 10 to cut the 10 into the pocket, so it doesn't get any tougher than this. And a lot of the players right now are rooting for me to win. As I mentioned, I have to slow Lee Miller down. Leroy Jones, that's the correct name, otherwise known as Lee Miller. I have to slow him down here in order for them to get an even better chance and more chances at the table. Tough shot. There we go. I tried to make the shot, and again the object ball did not throw as much as I anticipated. That was similar to the earlier 7 ball that I had missed against Westburn Finley, where it got into the pocket and the deep shells, or slightly deep shells, held that ball up. So now Lee Miller, of course, he had his momentum last week, and due to the late hour of the night, we had to stop the tournament and turn it into a 2-day event. So he too now is going to need the same start as what I have here in order to pick up and wrap up this tournament. He only needs 7 more points to win. I need a total of 10. He will have at least 2 more chances at the table. If I lose here, I will have less than 2 chances maybe at the table based on how the other players perform. So he too needs to be off with a great start, and that was a great shot. Already he has played position into his problem area here to run this rack out. Definitely this almost seemed like a good run for me. Alright, I'm at 5 points, and of course I took my chance. It was a great break. I was trying to run the game, but I felt a bit short here. So Lee Miller already is clearing up his problem area here. So he's just going to be drawing the cue ball off the 3, off the rail for position. He's on the 1. but he made a slight development on that 3 ball, which had he avoided the 3, that 3 ball had a clean route into that pocket. But now he most definitely will have to pocket this 3 off the rail of the 10, or he has to land dead straight in with an angle in order to pocket this 3 and get position onto the 7. Let's see here. He was trying to draw from the 1 to the 7, but he actually run into one of my obstacle ball, which now most definitely he's not pleased. As you can see the grimace on his face here, he has definitely played himself out of position. He still has a chance. He has to make a decision as to whether he's going to take the tough long thin cut on the 7 and then take the 3, which is an ideal key ball on the 8, but due to the fact that he clearly doesn't have a shot after the 7 or a pinpoint position back onto the 3 to get a straight in shot, he decided to play the 3 from now and take the tough cut onto the 7. Alright, so decision making is important here, considering that he had just barely nudged the 3 ball. He put it into an area where it made it very difficult for him to choose to go for the 7, and after even drawing from the 1 to get back onto the 7, that changed his plan completely. Little bit of distraction there in the background. I think that was me. I think I was in his line of sight, so he asked me to just get away from the table there. Alright, so he's done on this tough cuts on the 7. He most definitely can cut this ball, but the pool gods has worked against him there. It has left him and he has missed the shot, leaving me with my second chance at the table. Again guys, if it is that you're watching this match and you're getting value, consider smashing the subscribe button below, smashing the like button, leave me a comment, share this out to your pool communities. This is perhaps one of the best moments in my pool career, and this is just part 1 of part 3, where you're going to be seeing an execution of great pool being played by young amateur pool players, young professional amateur pool players. So I'm going for the tough long 11 here. Risky business, because if I missed that shot, I would have brought Lee back to the table prematurely. But I'm definitely in prime. I'm getting into the dead zone. I'm not yet there. I believe you're going to be seeing me in my dead stroke motion in part 2 of this video, so be sure to subscribe to be updated when that video has been posted. So I'm feeling really confident here, feeling really good. That 7 ball has just made that pocket a lot bigger, because if I come off the rail a bit thick, I should be able to come off the 7 and still make the ball. But here it's just all about getting back into the middle of the table here. So playing with a bit of top spin, cutting that 11 cleanly, grazing the 7 there. So as I said, the 7 made the pocket a lot bigger. So now I'm not in the middle of the table, but I believe I can have a look at the 10. So I'm trying to see if I can pocket the 10 and escape the 14 here. The roll shot definitely is going to take me into that 14 ball, I believe. So I'm going to pocket the 10 here. As you can see, I was trying to stun draw in between the 8 and the 14. I didn't get exactly what I wanted, but that nudge onto the 14 there just made it a lot easier for me. And that was a great shot there. Nicely done. I must get into that area there for the 8. Anywhere on the left side of the 8 here and close to my work is going to make this rack come to an end. Of course, I have a shot into the side, but I'm going to have to move this cue ball too much, so I decided to go straight down. And let's see how I stroke this ball down into the corner pocket. Whack. Beautiful shot there. Listen to the crowd in the background. That was a great shot there. The whole crowd is happy. Great shot here. Listen to the uproar after I pocket this 8 ball. Everybody is celebrating. There we go. Everybody is happy that I was able to stop the leader from going one game closer to that mark, that winning mark. You must be asking, why are they celebrating and they're competing? They are because the leader is so close. He's a strong player, and the leader is so close to actually getting to the mark. Everybody wants a chance. So the player who is actually at the least score is who the other players are going to be cheering for, so they can create some sort of upset on the table. Alright, remember that there are other players there who are actually getting a spot. So the player that is in second place actually the player who is in second place actually needs 7 more points to win. I need another 11 points. I'm actually on 6 points here. I need another 11 games to win this tournament, or even have a chance to win this tournament. And I'm now playing a young talent. Previously uploaded a video on my channel where you had seen him, Thomas, where I just gave you a brief little commentary on a rock that I thought was quite important for you to watch. A couple of you guys did give me a few comments and a few views on that. Wasn't a lot, but it was greatly appreciated. Thomas at that time was a really developing talent. Not sure if he's still playing on top form, as I mentioned in the previous video, but he was a talent to watch out for. And in this game you're going to be seeing a few mistakes, but more so you're going to be seeing the ability here for both players to keep their composure when the game gets a bit tough. This is the final rack of this upload, and if you're getting value from this video, again, as I said, consider smashing that like button, and of course subscribing if you're this far into the video. Leave me a comment, let me know if you're entertained by what you're seeing. There's a lot more to come on this channel, guys. Live tournaments are going to be posted, tutorials as usual are going to be posted, great matches like these are going to be posted. You're going to be seeing a lot more players here from my country. Thomas got the first opportunity after that break shot there. He tried to go for the solids, he missed. Now he has brought me back to the table, which is a dangerous thing to do, because I'm now building a momentum. 2 break and runs, and of course 2 tactical games that I had to play in order to win. Alright, 4 clean games played so far. Nothing great, nothing spectacular apart from the break and run, but it's a dangerous time to let me loose. Not only is it a dangerous time for the opponent to let me loose, but it's also a crucial moment for me, because if I let my guard down with any one of these lesser experienced players, it could bring my run to an end. Of course, I'm showing you how great of a match this was, and you're only seeing part 1 of 3 parts. Alright, so as I'm talking here through the rack, as you can see, I'm planning and executing the run here. I'm trying to do a little breakout, a little development of the rack. So I'm cutting the 7 with top spin, trying to go into that cluster, maybe catching the 12 ball there. I went in between the 12, the 1 and the 6. That was not ideal. I missed the breakout, so now I have got myself into a bit of bother here. Alright, I'm looking. I'm actually trying to construct my 4th attempted break and run. Of the 4, only 2 was completed with a tough shot on the 8th, and I'm now here trying to do another one. The last one I tried, I failed by overplaying or playing myself out of position against Leroy Jones. I got fortunate, and I actually got back to the table where I was able to finish what I had started. So here you can see I'm lining up an aggressive cut combination into the side, taking me a while to line it up, but it's tough. Once I pocket this 6 ball here, depending on the speed, if I land on the 6, this could spell game over here. But if I miss, I could be in trouble. I barely missed. I had a bit of object ball throw there. I know it was heading towards the pocket but slightly drifted. Of course, it's not a brand new cloth, it's an old table with a fairly new cloth, very stiff, right, very firmly placed down on the table. Table is quite bouncy and it's quite quick, quite fast, but it's not a brand new cloth, it's not a brand new table, so of course that could have been one of the factors contributed to that miss. But nevertheless, let's have a look at Tyreek here. Tyreek is down on the table, started his opening shot with a strike ball into the side. One of the thing that I need to mention to you guys that was the key point is the fact that I got lucky on a few times. As you're gonna be seeing in part 2, there's gonna be times when my opponents that I were playing, they got a chance to beat me. They got a chance to end my run, but they did not finish. Like for example, what you're seeing there, Tyreek Thomas got a shot onto the 10 and he missed an easy shot there. Naturally, if he was in the lead or he was not that nervous, I'm assuming that there's a little bit of nerves. I'm playing really well. They're seeing something from me now that they did not see on day 1. So I'm sure that they started the day not expecting me to do what I'm doing now or what I'm about to do. So surely what they're seeing now, considering coming to the table, he had to have had a little bit of nerves. He did disclose to me at the end of the tournament that he did have a little bit of nerves while he was playing me. And all our matches, all our games that we played, me and Tyreek, they were really good games, which you're going to be seeing one of each in the next 2 uploads on this channel. So have a look at Tyreek's game and how he plays. This game is actually going to turn out into a tactical battle. It wasn't supposed to be. Here you're going to be seeing I'm going to be pocketing the 6. I'm trying to move that 1 into a positional area here, but there you can see, unfortunately, after pocketing the 6 and trying to break out the 1, I unfortunately scratch. Definitely this looks to be the end of my run. Tyreek only has one problem area which he needs to solve. I don't think he actually see that the problem area here is actually the 9 and the 13. He's taking it into the side. I initially thought, now that I'm looking at the rack, I initially thought that the better shot here was to play the combination first or leave the combination for some point throughout the game because it was wired to the pocket. Leave me a comment down below, guys, to let me know what you think. Just go back a little bit and pause and see if you think that the combination could have been played a little bit later or actually played first, because now those 2 shots that he just played were the actual wired combination to the same pocket he has played them in. So I'm not sure if that was a right or wrong shot, and just let me know your thoughts in the comment section. But he still has a problem area that he needs to solve, and of course this is one of the problem areas that a lot of young players have. Even in the developing stage, they tend to pocket a lot of balls. They tend to be really good shot makers, but 8-ball requires more than just shot making ability. It actually requires proper planning, and not only proper planning but proper execution of the plan. And of course you have to be able to change your plan and stay composed when you have to change your plan. For example, now you can see he's actually left his problem area for last, which is highly not recommended to do. He now is trying to play for position. You can see he got up in the stroke. He was trying to draw back slightly, but he got up into the stroke, and now I don't think he has left himself any sort of shot on the 13 ball here. Surely he must be disappointed to know that he had his chance. I'm not even sure if in the opening when he got the ball in and if he could have played the 13 there, but he still has opportunity. One real kick and a great shot there by Tyreek. Not sure if that was intended to leave it full snookered behind the 8, but he got it safe and he has left me tough. A lot of you guys here who have been on my channel from the get-go knows that one of my strongest area in the game is kicking. I've studied this part of the game. It really entertains me, and I can safely say that one of the main contributing factors to this massacre, this absolute thriller of a run that was done in this match, I have to attribute at least 20% to the kicking skills that I have, and also not only the kicking skills but the luck I attained from the kicking. There you can see I almost missed the 5. I got a little bit of nudge onto the 5, and of course here Tyreek is not left with an aggressive opening shot here. Just one chance that he gets and it could spell game over, like what Leroy Jones got earlier, where he got a shot, he got a chance, but he wasn't able to capitalize on the final moment. So Tyreek here will have to go for another defensive play. I'm assuming that he's going to try to leave me way up onto the short rail here, or perhaps even leave me behind the 8 in some way, shape or form. And as we're coming to the end of the rack, guys, of course, my name is Apex, and your Apex Predator Billiards training aims to give each and every player an equal opportunity to develop their game with a level of consistency, precision, accuracy and control. And there again, another great safety. Alright, very good there by Tyreek Thomas. This time he has left me even tougher, because now he has locked off the first rail to which I had kicked at earlier. So now I'm going to have to go down table, which could spell position, because if I miss this kick, it's an easy run from the 13 to the 9 to the 8. So I have to get a bit lucky here. I was actually trying to go for that aggressive one rail kick into the side. That would have been a spectacular shot had I completed that there. But again, as I mentioned to you before, the more I practice, the more I study this game, the luckier I get. And here you can see I have a partial luck here. Now Tyreek has a look at the 13. It's a bit thin, but it's actually in his favor, because if he makes this 13 based on the thin cut, once he makes this 13, it's going to rebound into the cluster, and it just kind of depends on how hard he plays the shot. This 8 could land into an area that ends my 4 rack run here. Let's see if Tyreek will execute the shot. Ooh, just missing that shot there. And he actually played himself out of position, because with the nerves, even if he had made that 13, he would have left himself with a really tough cut shot on the 8. Makeable, mind you, makeable, but tough. Very tough, because as you can see the position of the cue ball here, it would have probably been a little bit better. Maybe he would have break out the cluster, I'm not sure, but he missed it almost by a quarter of a diamond, so that could have definitely contributed to his a better positional route had he made it. Alright, so Tyreek here has left me again tough. That one ball is just slightly above the side pocket. It has actually turned what is actually, or could have been, a fairly decent cut into the side. Based on where the cue ball is, he has left me with a severe back cut. I'm in between decisions here. Any sort of miss, any sort of giving Tyreek an opportunity to come back to the table is definitely the end here. I'm walking around the table, as you can see here, in between decisions. I want to go for the aggressive shot, but I'm actually looking maybe to play some sort of safety, maybe tie up the object ball with Tyreek's 13 ball. I believe I was thinking about banking the 5 or overcutting the 5 and using the 5 to block the 13. I think that's what I was looking at. But I think I've made up my mind that, hey, I've got to go aggressive. I've got to use the momentum that I have. I've got to go for this shot. And indeed I did. And of course, indeed, you can see there I've made the shot. And as I said earlier, the more I practice, the more aggressive I become, is the better I'll get. I'm not known as an aggressive player. I'm more of an offensive defensive player. I'm very calculated, very methodical in everything that I do. I plan everything that I do. I do not do anything impulsively. But there you can see the momentum there was riding with me, and I did go for that aggressive back cut on the 1, leaving myself with a shot on the 5. There you can see I'm just taking a moment there to gather my composure. The 5 ball is dead straight into the side. The 8 ball is hanging over the side pocket. A simple stop shot here, but I don't want to rush into the shot. I kind of want to just take my time here. Stay steady, stay focused, stay loose and stay composed. Just kind of stabbing this cue ball or just roll forward in, just to avoid the ball in hand, because a lot of players was looking that the cue ball was close to the 5. But nicely done there, and to end this rack in fine style. And that gives me a 5-0 lead on day 2 here, and I will take you into part 2, which will be uploaded in a few days or a few hours, guys. You're gonna be seeing a epic run out. Thank you all for watching, thank you all for subscribing and sharing, and I'll see you next time in another tutorial video from the Apex Predator Billiards Training Club. Take care, peace, and I'll see you all in another upload.